You see, because of sin, they felt this lack, they felt this sense of shame, so they felt the need to cover themselves up. And ever since this day, we have been born with this lack. This lack that we are not enough, that there's something not right with us, that there's something wrong with us. We'll call it bad childhoods. We'll call it mental disease. We'll call it oppression. We'll give billions of names for it. But at the end of the day, the source is the same. It is our sin and separation from God. So we bring offerings to God and to one another to cover up our shame, to cover up our lack, so that we feel like we're acceptable. The writer of Hebrews tells us where this continues to come from. He says in Hebrews 4:13, he says, no creature is hidden from his sight, speaking of God, but all are naked and exposed to the eyes of him to whom we must give an account. I contest that in our soul, or contend in our souls, that we all know, whether we admit it or not, that God sees us for who we are. He sees the ugly, he sees the lies, he sees the sin that we hide. We work so hard to hide from everybody else. And so there's always this feeling of condemnation, this lack before God and before others. And so for Cain and Abel, they knew this. And so they did what we all do. They didn't just go to God and say, Lord, here I am. Aren't you lucky? No, they brought an offering. They brought an offering. Say, Lord, will you accept me? This is how they were the same. This is how we are the same as them. But they were also different. They were all different, both different. And as we saw them bring this offering to God, remember that Cain was rejected, right? Abel was accepted. The question is, why was Abel's offering accepted? This is what we should want to know, because this is the difference between being accepted and rejected by the Lord. And we get a glimpse at the reasoning in Hebrews chapter 11, kind of the chapter of faith, they call it. The writer of Hebrews says, by faith, Abel offered to God a more acceptable sacrifice than Cain, through which he was commended as righteous, God commending him by accepting his gifts, his offering. And through his faith, though he died, he still speaks. So Abel's offering was accepted because of his faith. Faith is one of the most important words in the Bible. The Bible tells us that we are saved by faith. We are justified by faith. We are adopted by faith. We are sanctified by faith. There's very few more critical words in the Bible than faith.